for reasons that have not been entirely clear right from last year, the government seems to have been reluctant to do that. There have been some cash outlays, but much smaller numbers than of the kind that you mentioned. There's been a whole lot of other ways of trying to infuse liquidity into the system through making lending easier to small businesses and so on, but there hasn't been that kind of cash or income support, and that's worrying a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that is worrying because I think what happened in the first wave was not just the 25% shrinkage, 24% shrinkage in GDP. That was partly a result of a demand shock. And in any case, people, I've been saying, and many others, I mean, I'm not the first or the last person to be saying this, that the economy was even before that, even in 2019, demand constrained. And so I think there is a sense in which you could do a lot more to make people reassure people that their economic well-being will be foremost in the mind of the government, which will then get it to spend, which will then have the positive multiplier. I think this is after all what the U.S. has done. The U.S. has been incredibly and is still doing, in a sense, is incredibly open-handed with its money throughout this period.
Yes, I wanted to get you talking a little bit about that because we do follow some of what's happening from here, but it'll be also good to just hear from you a sense of how it's working with other countries like the US, even the UK to some extent, that are actually handing out these COVID, like almost social security, just checks, cash to people, to businesses.
Yeah, so I think that the US basically went in with an extremely generous, by US standards, welfare program. Any unemployed person would get $600 per week. That's a lot of money by US welfare standards. What France did, you said I was speaking from the US. In fact, I'm speaking from France. What France did was to basically put in place a furlough system. So everybody who was working is now but cannot work because of the lockdown, is now being supported by the government. And this was actually a kind of a remarkable shift, in a sense, in sort of fiscal wisdom. Because typically the European Central Bank is famously conservative in its spending plans. But in fact, in that one moment, they decided that they just needed to do what it takes, as famously was stated. And what it took was to spend a lot of money, and they printed money to spend it.